I went to the glute guy who created the hip thrust and asked him to create a ultimate glute workout for me today, and here's what he came up with.
Let's think of our categories. For the thrust bridge category, I'm gonna have you do straight up barbell hip thrust, which we don't do that much in here because we have all the fancy machines, but let's go old school. Barbell hip thrust.
Fred's so right. I'm usually always working on the fancy hip thrust machine. It felt so nice to be on the classic hip thrust. These have been a staple for years, and honestly, every single glute workout always has hip thrust because they're just so good and they hit that glute max so right on.
Now let's think of the squat lunge category. Let's go single leg press. We're gonna make it glute dominant, so the foot's gonna stay up high, but it still works the quads.
The glute dominant leg press here for me really targets that lower glute, that area between the glute and the hamstring. Like you can tell on the look of my face, wait, look how good these hit. They were awesome. My legs were trembling.
Now for our hinge pull variation. We're actually gonna do a machine, or specifically the V squat machine. We're gonna do reverse good mornings.
I wish all the girls could try this V squat machine because it is just that good, especially doing good mornings on here. The stretch I feel on here is incredible.
Finally, we're gonna finish off with the abduction category. We're gonna do 2 abduction movements off the same machine. So we're gonna use seated hip abduction machine. The first is leaning far forward for the glute max, and then we're gonna superset that with bridged to work the glute medius.
Glute supersets are so good, and Brett came up with this, and this is amazing. First, you start off with the leaning forward and hinging, working that glute max. Then once you absolutely cannot do anymore, you lower the weight and then lift your hips up and work that glute medius. It's a really awkward position, but once you get it right, it's amazing.
5 exercises. You're gonna work glute medius, upper glute max, and lower glute max. Let's get started.